Let's go, Georgia fans! I am back again, and Kirby Smart gets slayed again by Alabama. I have one absolutely insane stat as to why the offense sputtered versus Alabama, and you start off with what should have been an interception. So, really quickly on this play, you always have to be careful when you're throwing these over routes where you think you have a one-on-one matchup. This is obviously a better throw versus man than zone because there is a linebacker just right there. You're staring it down the entire way. So you get really lucky. One of his worst throws, and it still almost gets caught. This is going to be a big theme from this podcast. It's currently on top of my head right now, Georgia fans. And, well, a lot of your offensive issues, ironically, had to do with the defense, and we'll tell you why coming up. First off, we'll break down this play. This is really good stuff from Mike Bobo. Look at all this space you have to work with, and you have Zachariah Branch, who has been good up to this point in the season. Dylan Bell gets flattened. You got to put it on the line for the team, and, well, they didn't call tripping right here. You get a little lucky that they didn't because obviously he hooked him. But this is just ridiculous skill right here from Zachariah Branch, a Houdini act. So, of course, offensive line health was a big deal heading into this game. You can't really do it that much better than that. Look at this block on LT Overton. Or was that Overton? No, that actually wasn't. So I guess you could say the window is closed. Get it? The Overton. Either way, it's going to be interesting, this Georgia carry share moving forward. You know, one thing I could say about a Kirby Smart coach team is they're just never going to just come out and play bad. Normally, the other team is going to mostly play good, and the fight that they have when they are down by a lot is really second to none. So you guys saw it versus Tennessee, and now you see it here. Double move on Colby Young, and this is just vintage Alabama defense. Get very aggressive up front, jump the short stuff, and if you're Bobo, you know that that's something that they're going to do. So hit the double move. If that's going to happen, Gunnar Stockton's really got to sit in there. Someone's going to be unblocked, and Hubbard, number 18, was. And guess what? Colby Young continues an explosive season for the Georgia Bulldogs with the second 30-plus touchdown or 30-plus pass reception early in the game. Obviously, he had it versus Tennessee a few weeks ago. Alrighty, so, you know, this wasn't the best run call versus this look. You could see that the safety is literally in this gap. So in a perfect world, you want to move up to the second level and block this backer, and you just hope that the running back could force Hubbard to miss. But Hubbard was already at basically the line of scrimmage by the time Frazier could get there. But as many of you know, I was never really a big Nate Frazier guy. We did a film study on this before the season. I do think he is overrated as a runner, and, well, I can live with that if you don't cough up the football. So Bowens really made himself a name in this game. But honestly, there were some really good moments from this Georgia offensive line. Also some really poor moments, as many of you know. But this is about as perfectly blocked of a zone run play as you will see. Defensive tackles over-penetrate, and now you need Bowens to turn on the gas and make the DB miss, or at the very least turn the corner on him, and he does just that. But the reason he's able to do that is because of the great blocking up front. It really, really, really was good stuff. Alrighty, 4th and goal. We can get into Kirby's decision to actually go for this, which I think is fine in a vacuum, but honestly, this is just really good defense. So at the bottom, they are running double China 7, which is in-breaker here, and a corner route here, and Gunnar Stockton elects to work the 2-on-2 over here. So you have one-on-one matchups here to the bottom. I understand it, but if you actually would have worked over here, boom, you have Lawson Lucky for a touchdown. That's really hard to see pre-snap, and I don't mind ever working the one-on-ones to this side. The problem is at the snap, every defensive back took inside leverage. And honestly, it's really good stuff. We've seen Georgia so many times score in-breaker touchdowns in this spot. So Gunnar Stockton is in a difficult spot. Some pressure does eventually break through, and he decides to just check it down and give his guy a chance. I can live with that. It was just a really good defensive rep. Obviously, if you work lucky on that play, you're scoring. But give Alabama a lot of credit. They played a really sound defensive football game. Alrighty, Georgia fans, come after me all you want. That holding call was very trivial. They actually whistled it on Colby Young at the top of the screen. So you get to continue here. This is what I love about this Bulldog team. Just good old Smashmouth football. You rarely see this. You cram everyone in, and you are actually in 32, or excuse me, 23 personnel with 2 running backs and 3 tight ends, okay? And instead of cramming it up the middle, you're actually pulling this out to the left, okay? Good job right here by Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. This is just filthy tight end blocking right here. That's as good as it gets. It's a really sexy, man, that is, y'all, is this the best goal line pitch I have ever seen? I mean, it just could not have been blocked any better than that. Man, it is amazing when you look at the Georgia offense of the modern Kirby era. You think of the absolute best offensive line, you think of Smashmouth football, but the truth is, it's really been a misdirection offense. So you hand this football off to 86 Mr. Dylan Bell, and you're thinking that this is going to be a reverse to Zachariah Branch. Look at all this gravity Branch brings to this play. 42, 18, 23. 23's job is Branch on this play. And 10 thinks that it's a handoff here to Branch as well. And he's one of the closer guys to Bell to potentially make this tackle. And that's a good block right there. 57 is so fleet of foot to get to the second level. And now it's off to the races. Really good block right there by 2. And now you're in a lot of trouble. If you're Georgia, you got to make the touchdown saver, and Keon Sabb is able to do just that. Georgia fans, tell me more about 2. I am so interested in this backfield. I don't think there's going to be a bell cow, but 2 had a few runs in this game, in particular in the goal line, where he was just really difficult to bring down. He scores on the next play, but man, he's got some strength. Alrighty, so it's simple. This is the biggest play of the SEC season thus far, what you're about to witness. And you can see Keon Sabb, who is the deep safety on this hash, is close to this backer, and he's not able to get back in time to get on top of this deep ball to Talyn Taylor, a true freshman. The protection is immaculate. The throw is absolutely perfect. And Georgia, I think you need to ban the number 11 uniform because alrighty, so Georgia fans, close your eyes because this right here is the biggest play of the SEC season. You can argue London Humphrey's catch was as big as this one, but honestly, it's a deep vertical. Keon Sabb, the safety, is not able to get back in time, and I think it's time to burn the number 11 uniform for fast wide receivers because this has Ainias Smith written all over it. Taylor drops it, okay? Now, so this is what he did wrong. He jumped. There's no need to jump. And I've heard Kirby Smart in a pregame fiery speech say, keep your feet, stay off the ground. And in this case, you jump for no reason. I mean, the ball, if he just runs normally, he is running underneath this and just waltzing into the end zone. 3rd and 4, and this is such a big piece of the Georgia offense. In many ways, I thought this was going to be a bigger piece because I did not think Gunnar Stockton would be as good as he's been as a passer. But man, his QB run game is very good. It's not ever going to be Sellers, Green, elite, but he is going to be at the very least a Diego Pavia level runner, if not better. It's really, really, really good stuff right there from Gunn. Alrighty, so this might be the defensive tackle football play of the season. I am telling you that this Georgia offense is a misdirection offense, okay? Look at this. You have Cash Jones on a handoff here to the right side. They're thinking it's actually being handed off to the right side. You have one to 3 players sealed off from where this run is actually going. It's a QB counter to the left. So let's just show you that action. Boom. This is a good job just washing them out of this play. Now, let's go to the actual play side. You're running a QB counter GT. You're pulling the guard around, you're pulling the tackle around, and the guy that I want to talk about is Mr. LT. Yes, those are the best initials to be as an edge player, but that's actually his first name. It's LT, and, well, I'll tell you his last name in a minute, because this is just a wonderful freaking play. You can see that these 3 Alabama defenders, 1, 2, 3, are accounted for. 1, 2, 3. You would like to think that you're going to be able to find a way to block this. But LT's last name is Overton, and he is going to tell you right now that this window is closed. That's the part where you're supposed to laugh because, Overton window. Either way, boom, okay? He does something here called denting a puller, okay? So there's 2 ways you can play a puller. You can do something what's called a wrong arm technique, where this right arm goes underneath the inside shoulder of 63, and you force the play to bounce, okay? The problem with that is if you're going to wrong arm it, there needs to be a kill and spill technique for that to happen, which means there would be someone spilling over right into Gunner Stockton, running to the outside. Instead, he dents it, okay? And denting means we just want to squeeze this hole as tight as we can to allow some backside pressure to come in and make this tackle. And if we dent it good enough and he still decides to bounce to the outside, we just want to make this bounce as slow and as sloppy as possible. And that is exactly what he does, okay? So 63 gets dominated by that dent. The right tackle, 73, who's a backup, gets cut off as well. And maybe Stockton could have still followed this through and picked up the 3 yards, but the DT is also there, okay? Then you could see that the play side tackle, Freeling, who I thought did some really good things, was the one who eventually lost his block here. So Stockton decides to bounce, and guess what? He doesn't get the full 3 yards. The safety eventually does fill. It still ends up being a decent run right here by Gunner. And then what does he do on 4th and 1? Wait, you mean to tell me that this breakdown includes an encore? Oh, yes. Yes. He splits that play, and he has the strength to bring Cash Jones down. Now, if you want to say that Cash should have been able to keep his feet and make this play, sure. Okay, there's quite a few Georgia running backs in the past who are doing just that, but he's not able to. And LT, man, you deserve it, bro. You deserve it. Man, you got to give the Georgia coaching staff a lot of credit. Zachariah Branch has just been really good. This is a difficult play. You can see Oscar Delp gets pushed back, and Branch really has to stretch this thing out. And he gets there. I mean, it wasn't easy. He makes that guy miss. That's a good block right there by Lucky on the edge. And, man, it's just been an amazing season for ZB1. Alrighty, so we get to this, and holy crap. I mean, Zachariah Branch, I should have never doubted you before the season. Okay, first off, give this Georgia offensive line a lot of credit for, blocking that twist stunt really well. And then Gunner Stockton for seeing this. This ball could have been delivered sooner into this window, but he still gets it there, right? You got to get this up and down over Hubbard, a good safety. And, man, that is a ridiculous catch right there from Zachariah Branch. Wow. Alrighty, Georgia fans, you know this drive ends really poorly for you. I want to share a stat, and it's going to lead into one small criticism I have about this offense. This was the second fewest amount of plays that Georgia played in a game offensively in the Kirby Smart era. They are rarely under 60 plays. Most teams are rarely under 60. You are at 53. A lot of the other under 60 play games that you had were blowout victories. So really, this was the fewest amount of plays that you really played in a game at all during the Kirby era. That means two things. Number one, Alabama was really good on third downs. We'll speak of the devil. Look, ESPN is doing graphics for me now. You're 2 of 7 on third, but they were a whopping 11 of 17. And then, of course, when you have those turnovers, like Nate Frazier had, and then you have drops, those snaps become even more premium, right? Take the Tennessee game, for instance. Versus Tennessee, you ran 87 plays. 87. That is a whopping 30 plus more plays. So what that makes you do, if you are like Georgia and you have a heavy rotation at almost every position on offense, you really have to think about how guys can get into rhythm and how guys actually operate and who really are your best players. Because, yes, it is a good thing to have depth, but right now Georgia has about 8 different wide receivers that are playing a whole heck of a lot. I really don't know what to say, but the snap count was so low. And a lot of this was because Ty Simpson and Alabama played a very efficient game, and they were able to keep the chains moving. So, look, obviously much was made about this play right here by Ellis Robinson. It's still one of the more ridiculous things I've seen a Georgia Bulldog do. But in closing, Gunnar Stockton, I thought, was fine in this game. He wasn't obviously as good as he was versus Tennessee, but our opinion of him is so different if Taylor makes that catch. It's just that simple. So comment below, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? It is Power Hour SEC. Boom! And tonight we are doing lasagna.